One of the first things I heard after Juice WRLD's passing was that the pilot on the private jet that he chartered to fly back to Chicago had tipped off law enforcement that there were several illegal items being carried on the plane. And this is why the police were waiting for him when he landed. But then I found out that a month before any of this happened, his flight from Los Angeles to Sydney, Australia was searched by federal agents because he was allegedly already on an FBI watch list. So what is actually...
See, now that changes things, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Before this video even start and get deep for real, I've been looking at that Juice WRLD situation like it was weird. And I always felt like, y'all see the title, either he was being extorted or he was being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what really was going on, which is really the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think he was being extorted or taken advantage of because why was it pounds of loud on this multi-millionaire, billion streams rapper?
The background of what happened on that jet. Now, it's important to note that despite some of his fans being angry at the pilot for allegedly calling the police, the pilot could have very well been an informant, or at the very least coerced by the FBI into providing information. I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but the airport is federal. If you're suspected in any way of crossing state lines, whether by plane or car, you've crossed into federal territory. So of course, if the FBI had checked one of his flights beforehand, why wouldn't they contact his pilot or any pilot that he chartered and order them to provide information? The FBI is not exactly someone you can withhold much information from, especially not as a pilot. Instead of trying to point blame at his girlfriend, the pilot, or whoever was on the flight, the question people should be asking is why over 70 pounds of narcotics were
70 pounds, bro,
found on the plane. If it were just a few pounds, then I'd say it was all for personal use. It was his birthday week, and according to what his girlfriend told law enforcement, he was an addict. But 70 sounds a lot like trafficking. But why would an artist whose music has already gone gold, platinum, and even diamond while he was alive, living in Encino, one of the most expensive areas in Los Angeles, need to traffic anything? And also, he was only visiting Chicago. He wasn't living there. As I said, he lived in Encino. And this is confirmed by not only he himself stating that he lived in LA, but the Chicago Fire Department also confirmed that in his post-mortem report. But none of this was more surprising than finding out that his remains were transferred to Leak & Sons. If you're not from Chicago, you have no idea what this is, but it's a grimy funeral home in a very grimy area. And his funeral wasn't held there.
I ain't never heard of this funeral home.
But it's a grimy funeral home.
78th and Cottage. That's not where the millionaire rich person is supposed to be getting buried. I'm sorry.
In a very grimy area. And his funeral wasn't held there, but the mere mention of it made a certain hood pop into my head. No Limit, which is on 79th, just like Leak & Sons, only Leak & Sons is a bit further west.
Leak is just a bit further west. So 79th is it's one of the main streets in Chicago, and then you got Cottage Grove. So if you go down 79th, 79th goes from east to west. So you can go east, and that's where like Herbo be. You can go west, and that's where like you go west, or that's where like Bloodhound, Lil Jeff, and them is at. You know, and you can keep going more and more west.
Now, I'm kind of unclear on what links a kid from the south suburbs to a hood on 79th Street. As Juice WRLD said himself, his mother moved him away from the hood a long time before he blew up. So the guy that signed him after being put onto his music was Lil Bibby, who was a rapper turned executive from No Limit, who also did not know Juice WRLD. When he met Juice WRLD for the first time, he was in the studio with other guys from No Limit who also did not know him. Now, I'll admit that while he was alive, I always thought his association with No Limit was strange.
It's weird.
Just being from the city, the suburbs are their own world. And typically, the only way you see a guy from the suburbs heavily associating himself with a neighborhood in the inner city is if there was some type of family ties.
That's what I was just finna say, is if they cousin or somebody, you know what I'm saying? And Juice WRLD went to HF. HF is one of them places where every nigga from the city want a girl that went to HF. I married one. Hold on, y'all. This is my clothing brand. I need y'all to go support your boy, okay? And supporting your boy with some pretty cheap clothing, all right? And you gonna be fly and fresh as hell, man. All right? Link in the description. They.us. Go shop. And from personal experience, she's told me, like, he was always rapping, but he was always dating white girls. He was always kind of like a little, not weird, but a lot of niggas looked at him like he was a lame. He wasn't like the, oh, what up, boy? Yeah, shorty, what's up, shorty? He wasn't that kind of dude. He was, you know, who he was, bro. He might paint his nails black, or he might love Naruto. Like, he he was more on that side than he was ever to the streets. So it always was weird to me why he was so close to the streets, dropping GDK and all that shit.
For instance, there are usually different branches in a family, and a lot of people that grew up in the hood have cousins that grew up middle class in the suburbs.
Exactly.
I have family all over the country, from the hood in Memphis to the suburbs in the valley on the West Coast. Now, I don't believe that Bibby is as affiliated with No Limit as he once was, since he really has been playing the executive role for a while, far removed from Chicago. But the guys introduced to Juice Wrld due to his affiliation with Bibby are not executives living in mansions. They are very much guys that were still in the streets. So what use would a millionaire raised in the suburbs be to a street gang? Well, in 2022, 3 Army soldiers, along with several other people, were accused of trafficking weapons to fuel a gang war, which also took the life of a No Limit associate, proving that even with how disorganized gangs are in Chicago, at least some blocks have enough money flowing through them to get certain people in certain positions to acquire things for them. And if what I speculate is true, it's not hard to believe that Juice Wrld was just being used by somebody for his money and access to private flights. The streets are
and he probably ain't realized it because he from the suburb, not because he from the suburbs, but he's from out here. Like, he looked up to these niggas. These is like, y'all gotta understand, Chief Keef, Herb, nigga, Dirk was damn, like, I don't even know who like, we all wanted to be them niggas. They was the first drill rappers ever. We all wanted to be them. You know what I'm saying? Every single person, like, you know what I'm saying? Even me, as growing up, I intentionally went to O Block to buy some Loud. O Block ain't around the corner from where I'm lived at. I could have bought some Loud any other place. But I wanted to go over there because I wanted to be like, oh shit, that's Lil Reese. Oh shit, that's you know, we knew who Vaughn was before y'all did.
Place. And when you're dealing with people at that level, they'll happily take advantage of you and find the right guy to send you the proposition you can't refuse. When I saw a video of Juice Wrld freestyling and he was actually disrespecting dead people, including some of No Limit ops, I knew there was some type of follower activity going on. Again, he's from the suburbs, and although some suburbs of Chicago are dangerous, some are very much not. And he grew up in Homewood, which I would definitely not describe as dangerous or gang infested. So would it be far-fetched to say that some guys from 79th convinced him to bring some weight in for them? I don't believe so. In fact, No Limit Cairo, a character from No Limit, even admitted on No Jumper of all places that he was on the plane with him the day Juice Wrld died. Now, it's important to remember that Cairo is not a rapper. He tried his hand at vlogging on YouTube before he ended up in the feds, but he was strictly known for being a guy in the streets for No Limit. Not a rapper, producer, or anything that has to do with music. And listen, a lot of these guys could have genuinely liked Juice Wrld and become his friends, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't ask him to do something risky. He was 20 and so were a lot of guys around him, and when I was 20, I was in college, so I can't say that I never saw anyone be convinced to do something that would ruin their life if they got caught. And this is the streets, so it's even worse. And there's even a rumor that some of the guys around him took Juice Wrld's watch after he died. And it's not the same, but it just some of the guys.
Max wasn't lying when he said G-Money and everyone took Juice's watch. Y'all act like that's the only watch in the world. Yeah, but who's wearing that? Because I'm going to tell you something right now, bro. That ain't no cheap watch. It's not no 20, 30,000. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that is wearing that watch. But if it ain't Herb or Bibby, they can't afford that watch, bro. That's an AP skeleton bust. Fully bust. That's gonna run you about 100. 100 minimum. The skeleton by itself gonna run you 80, then they gotta drill it and put diamonds in it.
Guys around him took Juice Wrld's watch after he died. And it's not the same, but it just reminds me of Chief Keef having things stolen out of his house because he let people in that he thought were his friends. In reality, most people are just opportunists, especially when you're the one that achieves something that most people only dream about. I'm from 79th, so I can just imagine what these guys felt like flying on private jets with Juice Wrld and riding around LA in foreign cars. This is a guy that was more successful than any rapper and arguably any entertainer from Chicago ever since Kanye West. During his life, he was top 10 in all of music as far as popularity. Just standing next to him would have got you 50,000 followers. And Cairo, now I'm not saying that if what I speculate is true that he was involved, as Cairo is the only guy from that area that was smart enough to capitalize off his own name and affiliation with people more famous than him, and it led to him gaining hundreds of thousands of views on his own YouTube channel, earning his own money. And it's also important to remember that there is no current investigation into all of the things found on his plane. Some of the people that were on board with him were only charged with weapons, but whatever trafficking investigation the feds had open on Juice Wrld, they clearly thought he was the ringleader because the case is closed. And several No Limit members have been arrested since his death, including Cairo, but none charged with drug trafficking. The affiliation between Juice and No Limit just shows how naive he really was. Since he was discovered by a No Limit associate, and he's the one that put him in the room with the other label executives, he might feel like he owes some type of loyalty to him, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And if the guys around Lil Bibby showed Juice WRLD support, and he felt loyalty to them as well, that's fine too. But being from...
I'm gonna be honest, boy. If I go sign, if I'm a gang banging, drilling, savage, shooter, killing motherfucker, and I go sign a kid from the suburbs who blows up and becomes a multi-platinum diamond selling artist, I'm not letting you. You're not dropping GD in front. You're not doing that, gang. No, you're not dropping GD. You're not throwing up no gang signs. You're not dissing no dead ops. You're not doing none of that shit, gang. You finna sing about these girls in this motherfucker studio. You see what I'm saying? You know, nigga. Absolutely. I'm not even introducing you to these people. Y'all got a weird way of connecting the streets to business. No matter how this nigga ain't never rapped about no murders, no street shit at all. I still see the shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave. Wow. That nigga ain't supposed to be dropping no damn GD. The fuck? Supposed to be wearing spike chains and shit. Wow, he supposed to be doing that rock star shit.
Chicago, you would know that just being seen with some of these guys can make you a target, which is unnecessary, especially if you're not actually involved in what they have going on. No Limit is a very infamous hood, and they've been getting busy for over 30 years, multiple generations, from back in the day when it was just called Terrortown to today with Drench Gang. These are some guys that you're only seen with if you're prepared to take on everything that they're into. And it's no secret, this has been one of the more intimidating cliques, like I said, for over 30 years. It's not just some group of young guys that jumped in the streets and started gang banging. But maybe Juice was just so under the influence most of the time that he didn't even realize what kind of danger he was putting himself in just by being around them. And with the back door always open in Chicago, it's hard for me to believe that Juice WRLD wasn't somewhat intimidated by these guys, as in his freestyle where he was dissing their ops, he even hesitated for a second as if almost rethinking his actions. But the person behind the camera dropping the rakes was most likely No Limit. Either way, if you want to believe that the police being tipped off is the reason Juice WRLD is no longer here, that's fine. But whatever was going on, it just doesn't look like something that he should have ever been involved with in the first place. Thanks for watching. And
like I said, bro, I think this is a kid from, and I've been saying this shit since it happened. I don't know if I got videos on it, but you know, he knew it was 70 pounds of weed on that damn flight. Juice WRLD knew. And I think when he found out the feds was outside, I think this is a kid from the suburbs. I don't think he ever, the worst he did was a few little scamming shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't never been to jail. He ain't never, on top of that, he high as hell, out of his mind, high as hell on perks and Lord knows what the fuck else. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure his heart, because when that, I don't give a damn who you is, bro. When them police on you, you can get pulled over. Your heart you gonna get a little bit nervous, gang. You know what I'm saying? Even when I get nervous getting pulled over, I ain't got nothing on me. Nothing illegal going on. The car in my name. I got a license. Nigga, ain't no drugs in this car. Ain't no, nothing wrong with me, folks. I still get nervous. So imagine landing a private jet with your private jet that you pay for and you orchestrated. This is your jet right now. Until you go home, this is your jet. This is your plane. And you know it's 70-something pounds of loud on this plane. Folks probably seen his life flash before his eyes, bro. He probably like, shit, they catch me, I'm for sure gonna have to, and it's a bunch of perks and all this other shit right here, and they gonna come in here and search you feel me? And I think he just panicked. The problem is, them wasn't his pounds. You're not about to convince me that them was his pounds. If it was 3 pounds, okay, God, nigga. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you got a lot of money, you a millionaire like that, you gonna buy pounds and just have, you know what I'm saying? Like, even me, I don't buy buy no fucking Trey 5s no more. For what reason? I'm finna go spend me $1,000 or $2 on a pound, and I'm gonna be good for a little while. I might get 2-3 strands and I'll just rotate my, you know what I'm saying? But you would never see me, if anybody has 70 pounds of weed, loud, they're trafficking, bro. They're trying to sell that. They're trying to break that down and make some bread off of it. That ain't no play shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think he just was already high. You know what I'm saying? And them perks make your heartbeat go up. it already make you tweak out. He might have popped a few more just to get rid of some. He ain't panicking. He don't know what the fuck going on, and he just overdosed. But like I said, the problem was them one his pounds. So who pounds was they? Whoever pounds was they? Why the fuck you ain't go to California and put the pounds in a car, in a rental car, or in your car and drive back to Chicago like everybody else? Why you ain't run the road? Why you ain't get a U-Haul truck and just run the road? There's no reason why, if my homie is a multi-platinum recording artist, I'm not even gonna let you. I don't know who fault it was. I don't know who knew what was on there. I don't know, but I know for damn certain you not getting on. We not using Juice World Plane to put nothing illegal on there, nigga. It might be a few guns on there, nigga. Somebody, you take the charge, we get the hell on. But under no circumstances, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if that was my artist, she wouldn't be around no street shit at all. No drugs, no gang banging, no dropping the rakes, no dissing your ops, nigga. No, you finna rap and sing, nigga. You finna make these songs. You finna go be great. You finna take care of your kids, and make $1 billion and $10,000-$20,000 million and take your ass on somewhere. You're not finna be in those streets jeopardizing nothing you got going on. When you in this crazy ass position in life. And the nigga was only like 20. He was already fucking come on, bro. Like, nah, bro. No.